There's a sex shop in Toledo that's under fire at the moment because of some offensive dildos that they're selling. So they have pictures of the Virgin Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus painted on them. Héctor Valdivielso, who's the owner of the store, said, "A man with his wife ordered me to remove the offending scene and said that if I didn't, he would remove it himself." So as a result of having this, his shop was vandalized. But what he did next is actually my favorite part. So, shop was vandalized. Some people were super angry about religious-themed dildos. But what he did is he polled people and asked if he should keep the dildos up for sale. And he said, whatever the response is, that's what we'll do. 78% of people were like, yeah, fuck him, keep it up. So we put him back up. I love that ending. Look, man, people need to understand. If you're offended, we don't care. I don't care. I don't care if you're offended. I couldn't care less. The whole, I discussed this the other day, but the word offended to me is a weird word and it's a strange concept. Because it basically implies I'm offended. So something you said affected me in such a negative way that, I need you to take it back because of how much it rattled me, But I always think, yeah, but hold on. What if the thing that offends you is just true? Well, then what? Should we censor truth to care more about your feelings than the facts? Is that what you want to do? Or what if the thing that's offending you is just a joke that had no malicious intent? Because if it's a joke that has no malicious intent, I would argue they're just joking and there's no malicious intent. So, if anything, the burden's on you to kind of get over it. This might make me sound like an ass, but what I'm trying to point out is that, no, they are actually kind of being an ass. Because you could be offended, but they don't have to care, and you don't get to control them because of your feelings. You see what I'm saying? So the whole thing, I'm offended. I don't really give a shit if you're offended. So, and it gets a lot worse than this too. So this is horrific. But then everybody knows in certain countries, if you draw a cartoon of Muhammad, it goes beyond offense. You could fucking get killed. Charlie Hebdo. Look what happened with Charlie Hebdo. So, what's crazy is that they mask it as no, we're being macho and we're standing up for our honor. No, you're murdering people over cartoons. You were so fucking offended because you're such a little bitch that you murdered somebody over a drawing. So, I don't care about how offended you are. I don't care. Now, that doesn't mean you can't make value judgments about people if they say something that's crass or, indecent. Obviously, you could argue against somebody on the merits of what they're saying and say, hey, that's not true, or hey, here's the issue with what you said there. I'm all for open discussion and dialogue, and you don't have to like the nativity scene dildos. You don't. Of course you don't. But it becomes a problem when you try to, you're trying to force him not to sell them anymore. Nobody can like them because I don't like them. Nobody can use them because I'm offended by them. Or not. How about that? So that's the problem when it comes to banning or censoring or vandalizing or committing a crime over your feelings. Because I got news for you. The actual crime being committed is what you're doing, not the person who offended you. So you shouldn't want to live in a society where anybody who's offended gets to dictate the rules of the game. No, you want to live in a society that embraces free speech and free expression, where, the actual liberal thing to do is to say, even though I don't agree with you, I will defend your right to say what you're saying. And by the way, I'm not the first one to come up with that quote. A million philosophers have said it. But if you don't believe in free speech and free expression, if you don't believe in it for the people you disagree with the most, that's kind of what we have an example of here. Even if you're super religious, super Christian, and you see that and you're offended by it, a secular society and a society that believes in human rights says you have your right to put that up. So I think you could tell what side I fall on in this whole thing. But there you have it, religious dildos. Something I never thought of before.